Voila! And welcome to the Amanda Natando Show. I'm Amanda and thank you guys for watching. I am so super excited about today's episode because joining me is a sister from another mother. I love our man. Is a lovely author in Edmonton. If you guys do not know her, she is worth knowing. I am so sorry. I'm glad I know you. Anyway, I would like to welcome Awakhiwe Dlodlo. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes.
It is such
a exciting. Thank you.
Thank you, finally. So anyway, you already know Canada embraces and loves diversity, right?
Yeah.
Would you mind telling the viewers where you're from, your heritage, and when you came to Canada?
Yes. So I am from Zimbabwe, and I came to Canada in 2001.
Right.
And I studied in Montreal and went to school there.
Right.
And studied and also worked while I was in Montreal.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Edmonton. So I've been in Edmonton now for the past 5 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, Edmonton for the last 5 years?
Yeah.
And that is so amazing to know. So you're really Canadian.
I am, yes. And I love Canada.
I love Canada. It is a beautiful country.
A country that's very close to my heart.
Right.
Yes. And I used to say to my friends, if Canada was a man, I would marry Canada.
Canada, you hear that? If Canada was a man.
Yes,
well,
yes,
but it's just a blessing anyway just to be here because we know a lot of people do not have the privilege to be here and what we get to learn, the exposure that's out here too, right?
Yes, it's right.
Yeah,
and
that is. Yeah.
I always think that Canada is an equalizer.
It is. It is. And
For
why
me,
do you think so? Yeah, for you, why do you
It's been
think
an
so?
equalizer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think of places that I've been where if someone has a certain job, you know, if you're a landscaper, you probably don't get paid as much money because you work the land as much as someone who works, you know, in the office, who is an accountant,
Right.
for example.
Right.
But in Canada, if I can be a maid, and my job as a maid is valuable.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And
That makes
I
sense.
can go to dinner and buy at the same restaurant that anybody else
Can go.
can go to.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the same in most countries, and especially back home.
Where you
I
have
know
so many
that.
classes.
Yes,
and
yes, for sure.
That is
That's
so
how I see
true.
it.
That is so awesome. And so, who is our in a nutshell?
Well, who is our? I think.
Let's even in full we can say Awakhiwe.
Yes,
Who is
Awakhiwe.
Yeah.
I am open to the world.
Mm-hmm.
I am continuously learning and open to learning, and I love people. My belief is that we are all one.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I try and be open and live with joy and take lessons from my life to move forward.
Right.
You know, in a more positive way.
Yeah.
In a more joyful way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I am ambitious, of course. But
And
I've
that's a
been
good
trying-
trait.
Yeah,
And that's a good trait.
I've been trying to balance ambition in terms of acquiring things that we want in life, and also in terms of reaching spiritual and emotional balance,
Right.
so that I'm at peace.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter what I do. You know, somebody's ambition may be to acquire certain things, have a bigger this, you know. My joy is, for example, traveling.
Yes.
Right?
And this
So
book says it. Oh, this book without even reading about
Yeah,
it.
so-
without even reading about
I
it.
do love traveling for sure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that is
those
so
I think are a few things that
Yeah.
make me
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
I love loving.
Yeah,
I love loving
and
kindness.
you actually have a big heart. You have a big heart.
Thank
if
you.
Didn't know. And even there's a part where I even read we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
Which exactly you've actually mentioned a little bit about it, like who you are, and it's really profound. Just reading the book. So who is your favorite author? Do you have a certain favorite author, and the author, and perhaps the person that may have inspired the writing?
Actually, I don't have.
Okay.
No, I don't have an
Authors, I'm
author.
sorry. I'm kidding.
No,
I'm kidding.
like I
She
said,
reads, yeah. She
Even
reads a lot.
I think of as a kid, people would say, "What is your favorite color?"
Right.
Right?
You can
I've
play
never
around
had
with
a favorite
colors.
color.
You can play around with colors.
I've never had a favorite color, and I think I just don't. I find it very difficult with society that wants people to fit here or there.
Okay.
I'm not
That
like
you're
that.
supposed
I
to.
am. I like being fluid
Yeah.
and experiencing a lot of things. So I have read a lot of books from many authors.
Okay.
And in terms of African authors, I've read, of course, Chinua Achebe. And I did read Barbara Makalisa from Bulawayo. I only had one term of school doing my language, which is Isindebele, and Barbara Makalisa's book was part of the curriculum.
Okay.
I found Richard Wagamese, who is Canadian and is late now, but his stories were very much something that I could sort of relate to.
Right.
And I think it's from how First Nations in Canada relate in terms of family, in terms of their spirituality. It's very much similar to my culture.
Right.
You know, like from different worlds, and yet so much like, oh my God, I totally get it. You know, the way they relate to family, for example.
Yeah.
We do not have an aunt when it's mother's sister.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or uncle when it is father's brother.
Yeah.
So my mother's sister is my mother.
Yeah.
Younger mother.
Yeah.
Or older mother.
Yeah. And some cultures will never understand.
Yeah, right? And then that makes it such a big family.
Right, exactly.
And I just love it when I read First Nations literature and stories.
Yeah.
But I read, I've read Courtney Bryce, and I've read Maya Angelou, I've read, right? So I am open and I read, and sometimes I just pick up a book, I see a title and I think, oh, you know, let me try this. So I cannot say I have a favorite author now.
By the way, indeed, your book, it is filled with thought-provoking and vulnerable, like, issues. And I was like, this is deep.
Yeah.
You know, it was so deep when I opened it. And so there came a part where you've actually mentioned about it, where you're talking about who our is, right?
Yeah.
And this page, it is thought-provoking.
Oh, really?
It made me reflect on myself too.
Yeah.
Right? Because sometimes some books, it's either you're reading just to understand something, and then sometimes it comes back to you in a way that maybe you're saying, okay, God, please talk to me. And then you open this, and then it's a way of him talking back.
Yeah.
So we're talking about you're gonna go places, kid. Yeah. Try and explain to me your feelings towards this part of your life when you got this message, right? So this page is, I'm gonna read real quick, and I hope I will read fast enough for you to understand. So once I got a ride from someone called TJ as we traveled over 400 kilometers that day. He said something to me during the trip that I will remember for a long time to come, which I would actually remember that, because that's more of a prophecy more than anything, right? So girl, you continue with your personality, and that's the moment that you say who our is. You that you have right now. It will take you very far. And imagine a stranger saying that, right? I'm telling you, you're going to go places, kid. Well, I tried to get, that's you now. Well, I tried to get him to explain why he thought so. He had only met me hours ago. He said I had a free spirit, and more than that, I had something he couldn't pinpoint. He felt strongly that whatever it was, it would contribute a lot to my life. I was moved. Actually, you know what? Let's talk what I'm not gonna say everything that's in here because it's exactly what I need you to explain, because it's a passage that's really powerful, especially when I read that small passage, right? To say you're going to go places. How did it make you feel when you heard that from somebody who you hardly knew?
I think it was a surprise.
Yeah.
It was a surprise, and I thought, why would this person tell me this? Especially if you're a young girl who has not been told positive things for a long time. And maybe not that you haven't been told a lot of positive things, but if you've been going through things that have affected how you see yourself.
Okay.
I was in a very grey place.
Wow.
I was not a happy person. You know, like
Inside,
I could be nice and happy with
people.
Oh, hi, how are you? But in general, inside me, I was very grey. I was very grey and just heavy. And what had happened is that it was during the time when my father and my stepmom had just up and left. And I was the oldest child. So we were 4 kids in total, and I had 3 siblings that I had to take care of. And we didn't know anybody in that city. We didn't know what to do, right? It's a long story.
So in other words, you took care of your siblings eventually?
Oh, for sure. I had to. There was no other way, because we were just, that was it. And
had you lost your mom? Or if you don't mind me
my
asking?
mother was alive, but with the family dynamics that had happened was at an earlier phase when my parents separated. My father, it is said that my father said it is better that we live with his part of the family, and we went to live with my aunt. Which my mother had
to
said,
say culture says you have to live with your last name. And,
So my mother at first had said no. I know that because she had told me the first time that your auntie came and there was a message from your father, blah blah blah. But things got really tough, and she couldn't even afford to send us to school because she was always a homemaker with 4 children and 2 homes. And now the breadwinner had decided to desert the family. So we would go hungry, she would sell things, but it was getting too difficult. And she said, I'm not educated, and I don't want to close that opportunity for you. If your father can only take care of you under these circumstances, that you be with his sister, I'll let you go, and I'll see you weekends and holidays, right? That's earlier on. But what happened is we were never able to see my mother. Right? We were taken away for some years, and we lost touch as we moved, from my aunt to my father. We lost touch. We didn't even know which city she was now. I knew where my grandfather's house was. That's my mother's family. And this is the funny thing, I'll come back to your question. But what happened is, when I was little and my parents were still together, my mother used to give me 2 addresses. One address for my grandfather, one address for our city home. She said, if ever you got lost, remember these 2 places. And years later, when I was now looking for my mother, I went to look for my grandfather's house because I never got the address that she used to tell me. And that's how I found my mother years later. So now, talking about this time when TJ was saying to me, girl, you're going to go places. I had been abandoned by a parent that I thought loved me. And I'm left with my siblings. So I was a burdened young person, struggling in life to make it, and with dealing with that abandonment makes you feel that, I'm not enough. If my own blood can desert me, just turn around and never come back, so you have a lot of things that are going on in your mind, so you cannot even dream for yourself at that time, right?
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah,
for a
sure.
stranger to tell you this, for me, it just
lit something inside. I was like,
I was
what?
taken aback, and I thought,
Wow.
what?
Yeah.
Are you crazy?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So that's why I remembered that.
But was it so then was it a turning point for you, or when was it a turning point to say, I need to deal with this, I need to deal with what I'm feeling, or I need to go and look for my mother? And eventually, the last time when you did your launch, you spoke about your father, that you had to go and look for him as well.
Yes.
So when was the turning point to say that Gray has to go?
It took a while. There wasn't one turning point, but that moment was one of them.
Okay. Yeah.
It was one of them, and the other thing that TJ said to me was, you need to let it go. You need to find forgiveness. Because when I told him that, well, what you're telling me
it contradicts what I'm feeling. Like
it doesn't match right now. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And he just said, well, you need to find forgiveness, and you need to move on. And it was a long time before I could get to that point to say, I can forgive, and I can sort of talk about it freely without bowling and feeling emotional and all that.
Right.
So that was really one of the major, pivotal points in my life as a young person.
Right.
To hear somebody talk to me like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was thought provoking. I was like, wow, okay. Imagine, especially when you're thinking, okay, am I doing the right thing? Or can somebody say something? And then you read this right there, it's something talking to you. Right, somehow, right? So I was like, that's interesting. And another relatable page that I read, actually, before we even go to that page, one thing I like about your book is that it's not in chronological order. I was like, I can pick any page, because at the same time it is so attractive. Just looking at it, opening it, the quality. It's not the regular, paper that you do, more like a magazine, different pages, pictures, everything. And then what made you come up with that thought to say, I'm not going to do this chronologically, I'm just going to go and write my thoughts, everything, my fears, my anger, my healing, my journey, but in bits and pieces.
So what I never thought I would write books. First of all, because when I started writing, I was writing to get everything that was inside me, and then I would throw away papers. I would write on something, and then get rid of it, because for me it is release. I'm letting it go. Right. And then a friend picked up one of those papers when she was visiting me, and when I got back home, she said, "Why is this in the bin?" And I said, well, because I don't need it anymore.
Right.
I'm done with it. She said, no, you need to share your writing with the world, right? That was the first time the writing came into my life as a suggestion that I should write and share what I write.
Right.
And then later on, now I was doing journals as years went by. So I was now listening. I kept journals and I would write, but I was still writing to get the pain and everything out of me, not thinking about, I'm going to publish this. And the universe, God talks to us, but God doesn't drop down and
I know. And say,
I am here. The big boy is coming out, rainbows.
Right.
God comes through people we come across in life.
And like I'm saying, like the one that the page that we just spoke about, right? Because you'll be trying to figure out, and God is like, okay, I want you to read Owl's book.
And so I have been listening. And throughout the years, the messages have come back to me. And then now when I got confirmations along the way, and the last confirmation was about a year or so before I started working on this book. When I woke up from a dream and I said, okay, I hear you. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So,
especially when the spiritual alarm does not stop.
Yeah.
It will keep on going off.
And so I then decided, instead of writing my full life story, I thought, well, I have these bits and pieces of what I went through, and when I was trying to go through the healing, the forgiveness, and understanding my situation, I'm going to dip my toes in there in the writing, but start with, this is a collection of these little bits and pieces. Let me start with this. And because I wanted to do it myself, as a self-published writer, I wanted this to give me the experience of, let me see, what does it take? How should I maneuver, this field? And I did everything myself, the formatting, everything. And because I didn't have chapters, that's why I used photographs to separate the pieces, And I did have one or two people where I would say, can you take a look? Found an author, someone I didn't know in the US, and I said, wow, if you could honor me by going through my book and giving me feedback. And other people, 2 or 3 people. And the feedback that I got, some of it I took it in, but most of it went against my gut feeling.
Okay.
And when it went against my gut feeling, I said, I don't care that
this is
I'm breaking the rules.
Because
I will break the rules and do it the way that I'm at peace with.
And that's what I believe in breaking rules every time. Like there's one time I was asked to speak about Amanda and the show. If people still remember, if I mentioned that, as much as people say this is how it's supposed to be, I want it my way. Right? Because at the end of the day, that's what makes you you. That's what makes you different than the norm. That's what makes you stand out. Because at the end of the day, we were not created to fit in.
There you go.
You're created to be our.
Thank you.
Right?
Yes.
And when I read this book, I have so many authors who, even we have another author, what's his name? Fusa Mabalega. His book was also a different format. You know what I mean? So that on its own, I'm like, I'm still reading books, but people are surprising me.
How are we supposed to feed each other when we are giving each other the same
information? I won't learn, I won't grow. So even
So
getting different pictures,
variety.
variety and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. I can read anytime, and it's so relatable because you are vulnerable about it, right? Not a lot of people are able to be vulnerable. But it's just one of those that's like, wow, be yourself. And like you're saying, your gut feeling will tell you. That thing is just so powerful, but people tend to ignore it.
And I think besides the writing, the sharing, the message in it, for me, what I really thought, I do want to share this. Because I went through the pain that then brought spiritual challenges, emotional challenges,
for sure.
Right? Anxiety attacks,
for sure.
and feeling so much pain that I wanted to be done. There was a time when I thought I'd rather be dead than feel this pain that I have no idea how to deal with it, right? So writing and sharing for me was a way of saying, you know what? It doesn't matter what. But to someone else who reads this book, I want you to know that it doesn't matter where your pain is coming from. Look for a place, somebody that you can talk to and find a way to release it. Because that's what makes people sick. That's what brings depression. That's what, you have to acknowledge, I am not where I want to be. I am not at peace and I am fighting. But how do I get this out of me so that I am free of the pain, the anger, because I wasn't expecting to be, waking up in a sort of drowning feeling. with anxiety and not being able to breathe and not knowing. I didn't even know what it was, you know, because I had bottled so much pain inside, right? Yeah. And you think we are taught that, oh, you have to take it, you have to be strong.
African culture, stop.
Please.
As in, I'm speaking from where we come from.
When you are being told,
yeah,
you know, you have to be strong and that's how life is, you accept it. We are making things that are not supposed to be normal to feel like they are normal.
Yeah.
It's not normal.
It's not.
It's not normal to feel so much pain, to struggle so much. It is not normal.
Yeah.
And let's not make it feel like it should be normal.
Yeah.
Because it kills.
Yeah.
It will kill your
Africans
spirit.
don't go through this.
Give you diseases.
Yeah.
So get it out. Find a way to get it out. Find a way to deal with it and talk about it and acknowledge it. Don't be, don't be embarrassed that you're going through pain.
But then that reminds me of a post that I once saw on Facebook. Somebody saying people are afraid to open up to people because they're afraid their story will be heard somewhere else. So how do we deal? I know we cannot control what the next person will do, right? But how can we help each other? Because mental health is real and people tend to ignore that, right? And say, oh yeah, our told me this about her life. Before you know it, who else knows it? But then you're trying to release it. You're trying to get out of that, right? Maybe it's getting you into depression, you don't know, right? How best from just life experiences in general, or if you've seen anybody, do you think we should help each other?
So I have learned that not everyone can talk, can understand, or can hear you.
Okay. Yeah.
Or you know, because sometimes you go to someone because you're so desperate to just talk to somebody, and then you tell this person about how you feel, and they degrade you.
Or
they trivialize your pain.
Which makes
it's
it worse.
so hurtful. You know. So it's really difficult. You have to discern as who is for you. Who is the person that you can talk to. And that is why it's best to actually go to, if there's a community center, counseling and stuff. It's better to go there because then you protect yourself from having a friend who ends up making fun of your life, right? But do find somebody. If you're in school, find out if there's a way, you know, you can talk to somebody. If you're at work, because some organizations do have the mental health, or you know, they do have somebody that you can talk to, whether you are grieving or going through a change in your life that you need to talk about. So just if you can just find somebody that you can talk to.
Oh wow! That is so amazing. And then another relatable page that I was about to talk about: prayer for anger. Prayer of anger. I've been through that. So like, there was a moment I was angry at God.
Yes.
And when I read this, I was like, okay, it's normal. It's normal because, well, I've made things right with God. But for you to write about it, what feelings did you have? Were you in that space, or you were in a space where you were done with that anger?
So I was in that space where, you know, sometimes in life, because of where I come from and having to go back to night school for me to finish my high school. While you work. And all the way, and taking care of my siblings at the same time.
That's a lot.
Even when I ended up going to university, doing 2-3 jobs, and you know, taking courses and all that. And then sometimes you still face these challenges where you think, what in the world am I supposed to do? Am I doing enough? Haven't I worked so hard that I should be, you know, I should be doing better than this? Or you put, you know, so much into something, into a project, and things just, nothing is fitting, nothing is flowing. Things just always go wrong, no matter how hard you put all the pieces in order, right?
Yeah.
And you get to a point where you think, I'm done with this, and I don't know, what do you want from me?
Yeah.
You know, what am I supposed to do, right?
Well, I guess that's what they say sometimes. We get angry, but then they say you'd rather say let go.
Yes,
let
for
go.
sure. And sometimes too, another question is, you think you're getting angry at God because you have this image that God is all
supposed
knowing,
to give
all,
you everything,
right?
Yeah.
But my other thought too, personally, is when you are getting angry at God, you're also getting angry at yourself.
Yeah.
In a way,
Yeah,
right?
that's
just
true.
at life, because nothing is. You try and make things happen, but you're not in control, and everything just goes poof, just like that. But there are many things, right? Because if you're going through challenges spiritually, you are also not in balance, right? That's another thing. You're not in balance. So as much as you go, look for these pieces to put together, because you are not in a flowing spiritual state, even the outer things that you're doing are not also flowing. It's a reflection of how we are.
What's
inside.
Did you eventually find the peace? Did you eventually get to a point where you're like, I'm sorry, God, if anything, this is me, or deal with me, or what is it that I'm going through, deal with me? Did you ever get to that point?
Well, I got to a point where
I know you're at peace right now.
I think I got to a point where I needed to, when you grow up going to different religious groups, churches and stuff. They are always different concepts of how they relate to God, of how you pray, of things like that. So I went to this phase where I thought, okay, I am going to throw everything away. Because it's, for example, sometimes you see someone who's a very prayerful human being, right? They wake up in the morning, they fast, they go to a church service, they will come back in the middle of the week, they will have a
Bible
service,
study.
Bible study, and then you see somebody who doesn't take that much energy to be present and say, God, here I am, and ask, doing better than this person who is so religious and doing what in most cases religiously is supposed to be a check, like as if there is a register where God is like, they would pass all that. And yet the person who just seems to say, I am being, this is me, seems to have their things just in place, right? Wow. So I started questioning a lot of things in life about how we relate to God and all that. And I said, everything, I'm going to drop everything and restart. I'm going to drop everything that each church has ever told me, that each, religious group or whatever person that I would read something and think, is this how you get things happening in your life, by doing this, by doing that? And I just decided I'm going to throw all that away. And every morning I'm going to wake up and say, I am alive. Okay. Here I am. Teach me. Yeah. Wow. This is between me and my Creator. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And I've been finding out things that way. My Christ consciousness spirit inspires me. Wow. Right? But at the same time, I am not a religious or, I don't have to belong to a group, to a church. I don't have. We end up idolizing a lot in our process in seeking God. We look so much more outside than inside.
That is so true. That is so true.
And now, after I dropped everything, I said, I am here. Every morning I wake up. I'm glad that I'm here.
Right.
I didn't ask for anything. I stopped praying to say, God, I'm asking for this, I'm asking for that. No, because I was asking for things. Not even asking too much, but I was asking for things and working towards whatever I was aiming to get, and then things were not working out. So for me, I'm thinking,
and felt disappointed. Was that
there must be a way to pray?
Okay.
Because, and this is what I've learned. I used to pray in fear of losing things. I used to pray begging. I used to pray, things like that. And I got to a point where I said, you know what I want, you know what I need, but I don't want to be in fear. I need to experience everything with joy. Wow. And if something doesn't work out, okay, let's try something else. Yeah, let's try something else.
There's something better.
Yeah. And also, because dreams or things that we want in our lives, we don't realize when we are thinking, when we are talking, we are also creating them at the same time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you are speaking out of fear, if you're speaking but doubting and thinking that, I'm not enough, God, tell me what to do, okay, I'm going to fast, I'm going to do anything that you want me to do. Whereas I'm at a point where I said, I am enough. I am a miraculous creation, and I am enough. Wow. There is nothing that God needs from me to prove.
Jeez. Yeah. Wow, that's deep.
There is nothing.
That's true. It is true.
I do not have to do anything. And this is mine. This is my own path that I have found out through my own experience. Because if I'm feeling that I'm not enough, I need to do this, give this, tithe this much more so that God gives me back. No, I give love, support, and whatever that I do in my life, I do everything with joy, with love, and with expecting pleasant surprises to come my way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But nothing that I even, with God and expectations, I stopped, I said, here I am. And actually that started taking me to a peaceful place.
Wow.
Where even when things didn't work out, I was like, really? I put so much energy into it. Okay, I need to know. I don't know how to go forward. And I would wait so that I get the path clearer to me as to how I should go forward.
Wow.
Yeah.
So where can people get your book? Where can they buy it?
You can buy the book on my website. Okay. Which is awakhiwe.com, awakhiwe.com, or at Audrey's bookstore here in Edmonton.
All right. Yeah. So was it the Audrey's where we
did the reading?
Okay. That was awesome. Yes. So we'll put all the details down below here. Feel free to go and actually don't just feel free. I am telling you, go and purchase this book. This is such an amazing book, and it's so different, and it's really relatable. Talking about anger, talking about healing, talking about just. I would put it in my belief as prophecies, because you're such an amazing woman. I am, if you didn't know that, I'm not gonna tell you, right? And just the kind of person you are right now, it reflects exactly what's in the book. So we love it, so you should go and read it. But anyway, before we go, you already know on the show we have fun times here where we have to play a small game just to have laughs after a deep conversation, right? So we're gonna have questions coming up right now after a second. We'll be right back. We're back, and you already know this is game time, fun time. I was telling Awa, I was about to explain the game, but I was like, you know what? We need to get back on the camera. And here we are. Alright, so the game here, you only have one serious question, and that one serious question has to do with Canada.
Oh, okay.
Seeing that you've been in Canada for so long.
Yeah. Oh.
I hope you get this one right. Right, exactly. But anyway, I'm sure you will.
Okay.
I'm sure you will. And then the rest, they play with your mind.
Okay.
Yeah, they mess with
Let's
your
see.
mind just a little bit. So just pick 5 right away.
Okay.
You pick 5 right away. I'm
Yeah.
gonna read them out to you,
Yeah.
and then let's see if it's going to tease your brain a little bit. Let's see. All right, that's 1. Let's put it in here. 2. Let's put it in here. We have 3 more. Okay, if you want both of them. Okay.
Oh, it's 2.
Okay.
Well,
do you want both of them?
they decided to
Let's see.
to go in together.
Yet you don't want both of them? Okay, so we have 2 more to go.
knows, right?
Yeah. 1 more. And here we are. All right, let's do this. Okay, let's start with pink because we have more pink, right? So odd number. All right, let's see how this goes. Okay. So I'm gonna ask you to say silk 5 times.
Silk, 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 silk.
That's funny. Okay, then spell silk.
S-I-L-K.
Sorry.
S-I-L-K.
Okay. What do cows drink?
Water.
You spot one! Yay! Okay, that was great. Oh, that's right. Because you know, sometimes when you say silk, silk, silk,
Yeah.
and then spell silk, S-I-L-K, and then what do cows drink? Milk. Some people say milk, right? Because you're thinking cows equals milk.
Yes,
But
yes.
that was smart. That was
All
real
right.
quick. All right, that was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so let's say, right? Let's say your mom had 4 kids. How many kids did your mom have? 4. Oh!
Right on.
Oh, right on. Let's say your mom had 4 kids, namely north, east, south. What is the name of the 4th one?
Oh. West.
Pause. Come back.
South, west. 4 kids, no?
Wait. We'll come back. I'm not giving you the answer right now. I am not giving you the answer right now.
You said northeast.
Yeah.
Alright.
We'll come back. Let's
Okay.
hold on to that one.
Okay.
Let's hold on to that one. You're running a race.
Yeah.
Then you pass the person who was 2nd place. What place are you in?
First.
Sure.
I'm passing the person who was 2nd, no? So, I'm 2nd.
You're like, I'm first. I know it's normal to think you're first. You finally got this one exactly. It's normal to think that you become first, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought at first anyway. That's a check thing after a ding. Right. So say a ding. Okay, this one's bad. Okay, say addicted after everything I say. Right? So when people do drugs, they're
Addicted.
when people drink alcohol, they're
Addicted.
what hit me in the face last night?
Addicted.
Say it again. Okay. Okay, let me.
Addicted.
Addicted?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe addicted. Guy. I'm sure she'll figure it out. There's a pause, but it's a ding, but it's a no. It's I don't know.
Addicted.
Yeah, addicted.
Yeah.
Think about it real hard. Think about it real hard. I don't even look at them. Okay, I'll explain to you after the thing. Alright! Boom! It's bad. It's bad. But anyway, you have to be crazy. You have to be crazy. You have to be crazy. Right, so what's heavier? Between a pound of cotton and a pound of stone? Whew.
Stone.
What's heavier between a pound of cotton and a pound of stone? Why a pound of stone?
Because it's more solid. It's the same weight, but if I had to carry, I'm sure cotton will feel lighter. No?
So pink and at the same time. So they're both the same because they're round, right?
Yeah,
But then originally our mind will tell us that stone is heavier because we think it's stone, right?
Yeah,
But anyway,
right?
that's fun. That was amazing. So it's the same way. Yeah. So going back to this one now. So tell me why exactly.
You said northeast?
Northeast, northeast, south,
west.
But your mom has 4 kids.
Yeah.
Your mom. Your mom. Mm-hmm. Your mom.
She has 4 kids.
Yeah.
And they're named north, east, south, west.
Awa.
4.
North, east, south, Awa. Gotcha! There we go!
You got me.
I gotcha, right? There we go. I know. That was a quick one. That was a quick one. Yeah. Oh, do you want the last one? Do you want to play the last one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if this one's going to be crazier than what we did. Alright, so. Hallelujah, this one's fun. So let's say you've got 2 dogs.
Yeah.
5 cows.
Yeah.
1 cat. Mm-hmm. How many legs do you have?
2 dogs. 5 cows. And
1 cat.
And 1 cat.
2 dogs, 5 cows, 1 cat. How many legs do you have?
16. The legs of the animals of mine.
I like that, exactly. That's where the trick is. It has to tease your brain like that. How many legs do you have, right?
I got 2.
You got 2. Anyway, that was it for today. That's our. And how did you like the game today? Gotcha, right? Yeah. That is so amazing. Thank you so much for coming, Awa. It was such a pleasure to have you here today and to talk about your book. And guys, please support my sister Awa by getting this book on her website. The details will be down below here, and you can also follow her on Facebook. You can follow her on her social media. I will put all the details down below here. And thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned, and if you haven't subscribed, feel free to hit the subscribe button down here. I actually figured it's down here when I'm actually watching this video, so it's down here, not down there. Right? And thank you so much for watching. And remember, little girls with dreams become women of vision. Take care, and God bless you. Bye.